I'm Laura Bennett, 42, scraping by in a crumbling Portland, Oregon apartment. Life's been relentless since my divorce. Night shifts as a cashier, raising my son, Ethan, 14, alone. My ex Dave vanished, leaving no child support, just echoes of broken promises. Rain battered my window one November evening when a knock interrupted my exhaustion. It was Matt Carter, 30, a delivery guy, drenched, holding a pizza I hadn't ordered. "Manager's treat," he said, his lopsided grin disarming under wet, dark hair. I laughed, a rare sound, and invited him in to dry off. His kind eyes met mine as he toweled off, and we talked. His dead-end job, my deadbeat ex, Ethan's school struggles. He scribbled his number on a napkin. "Call if you need me," he said, leaving warmth in his wake. I shrugged it off, but days later, my landlord, Greg, hiked my rent $300, muttering about repairs I never saw. Bills piled up. Dave's absence stung. Desperate, I dialed Matt. He arrived with a toolbox, fixing a leaky pipe Greg ignored. "Guys like him exploit people like us," Matt said, his voice steady. That night, I found eviction papers taped to my door. Greg's move, citing late rent from his sudden hike. My stomach churned. Ethan's worried eyes mirrored mine. Matt's small act, fixing that pipe, sparked hope I hadn't felt in years. But it also drew Greg's attention. I caught him glaring as Matt left, hissing threats under his breath. I didn't know then that Greg's greed ran deeper. A scheme tied to forged leases and evictions. Matt's kindness, though, was a lifeline, pulling me from despair. As rain pounded, I clutched his napkin, his number a promise of help. Ethan slept, unaware of the storm brewing. Greg thought I was just a tired cashier, easy prey. But Matt's arrival wasn't just chance. It was the start of something bigger. His grin, his tools, his words lit a fire. I wasn't just surviving anymore. I was waking up. Greg's papers loomed, but Matt's help hinted at a fight I could win. My life was about to change, and I didn't yet know how. Matt became my anchor, stopping by with groceries or fixing Ethan's bike. His grin a light in my storm. One night, he overheard Greg on the phone outside my apartment, boasting about flipping the building with forged leases to evict tenants for profit. Matt, quick thinking, recorded it on his phone and shared it with me. "He's scamming you," he said, eyes fierce. I checked my lease. My signature was forged, replaced with Greg's predatory terms. Fury surged. Dave's neglect had left me exposed, and Greg pounced. I called Karen, my real estate agent friend, who dug into Greg's history. She found 5 evictions in 6 months, all tied to shady paperwork. Matt went further, uncovering Greg's partner, Vince, a slumlord with a criminal record. They targeted single moms like me, betting we'd break. My hands shook, but Matt's calm steadied me. "We'll fight this," he promised. Ethan, usually lost in his phone, got involved, rummaging through Greg's dumpster. He found bank statements showing Vince wired Greg $10,000 to clear tenants. I saved the evidence on a USB, my resolve hardening. Karen connected me with Lisa, a lawyer who reviewed the audio and papers. "This is fraud," she declared, her voice sharp. Matt's support turned my fear into fire. I wasn't just a cashier anymore. I was a mother with a mission. Greg thought I'd crumble, but Matt's recording and Ethan's find were weapons. I recalled Dave's betrayal, how he'd left us vulnerable. Now Greg exploited that wound. But Matt's belief in me shifted everything. Ethan sketched a timeline of Greg's visits, his focus surprising me. "We're a team, Mom," he said, his voice steady. I hugged him, feeling his strength. Lisa planned a legal strike, but I wanted more. Greg's scheme exposed. Matt suggested a confrontation, a way to trap Greg's words. My apartment, once a cage, became a war room. As rain fell, I stared at the USB, Matt's recording looping in my mind. Greg and Vince saw me as prey, but Matt saw my fight. His kindness wasn't just help. It was a spark, igniting a plan to reclaim my life. The battle was coming, and I was ready to turn their greed against them. Lisa's office was cluttered, but her strategy was clear. File an injunction to stop my eviction, then sue Greg and Vince for fraud. I handed her the USB with Matt's recording and Ethan's bank statements. "This is dynamite," she said, eyes gleaming. I wanted more than a courtroom win. I wanted Greg's greed laid bare for all to see. Matt proposed a sting. Lure Greg to my apartment to negotiate rent, recording his confession. Oregon's one-party consent law made it legal. I bought a necklace recorder, its pendant hiding the device perfectly. Karen uncovered Vince's history. Evictions in Seattle, silenced by payoffs. I contacted Claire, a local news blogger, teasing a slumlord expose. "Get his confession," she said, "and I'll publish." At home, I rehearsed my lines, channeling my cashier's calm under pressure. Matt coached me, his grin steadying my nerves. "You're tougher than Greg thinks," he said. Ethan, inspired, mapped Greg's routine on paper, plotting our trap. His focus reminded me of Dave's old creativity, now reborn in our son. Greg texted, "Meet tomorrow, 6 p.m., about rent." I replied, "Fine," knowing he expected me to beg. Instead, I'd spring the trap. Lisa filed the injunction, freezing Greg's eviction. Claire prepped her camera for the aftermath. I ironed my best shirt, the necklace recorder charged. Matt tested it, his voice clear on playback. "You've got this, Laura," he said, squeezing my hand. Ethan added a backup plan, suggesting we lock the door to keep Greg in longer. My apartment buzzed with purpose, our war room ready. Karen warned that Vince might show, doubling the stakes. I pictured Dave's abandonment, Greg's smirk, and channeled my rage into focus. The USB sat by my bedside, a symbol of our fight. Claire's blog would amplify our story, exposing Greg's scam to Portland. Matt's belief had transformed me. I wasn't just a victim anymore. Ethan's sketch, Lisa's law, Matt's courage, they armed me. Greg thought he'd outsmart a single mom, but I was building a case to dismantle his empire. As rain fell, I stood ready, the necklace heavy with purpose. Tomorrow, I'd face Greg, not as a cashier, but as a warrior for justice, turning his scheme into his downfall. Greg arrived at 6, Vince trailing, both in wrinkled suits, reeking of arrogance. Matt stayed in the kitchen, out of sight, as Ethan watched from his room. My necklace recorder hummed, hidden. I offered coffee, sliding the eviction notice across the table. "Let's talk rent," I said, voice steady. Greg smirked. "Pay your back, Laura." I met his gaze. "What about the forged lease?" His eyes twitched. Vince shifted. "Prove it," Greg snapped. I played Matt's recording, Greg's voice bragging about flipping the building. Vince swore, standing. "You're bluffing," Greg said, sweat beading. I held up Ethan's photo of their bank statement. 10 grand from Vince to evict us. Vince lunged for it, but Matt stepped in, broad shoulders blocking him. "Sit," Matt growled. I pressed on. "You targeted me, knowing Dave left us broke." Greg laughed, bitter. "No one cares about a cashier." The recorder caught every word. I slid Lisa's injunction across. Evictions blocked. DA's building a fraud case. Vince grabbed his jacket, but Ethan, bold, locked the door. "Not yet," he said, eyes fierce. Greg's face reddened. "You'll regret this," he hissed. Claire burst in with a cameraman filming their panic. "Tell Portland about your scam," I said, voice like steel. Neighbors gathered outside, phones recording. "You forged my lease," I told Claire. Loud enough for all. Greg shoved past Vince behind, tires screeching as they fled. Lisa called, charges filed, injunction solid. Matt hugged me, his grin wide. "You were unstoppable," he said. Ethan high-fived me, pride in his eyes. The recorder's file joined the USB, evidence airtight. Claire's camera captured Greg's defeat, her blog ready to expose them. My apartment, once a trap, felt like a fortress. I'd faced Greg's greed, turned his words against him. Dave's absence had weakened me, but Matt's strength rebuilt me. Neighbors cheered, their support a wave. That night, rain fell softly as I sat with Matt and Ethan, our bond tighter. Greg thought I was nothing. I proved him wrong. The confrontation wasn't just a win. It was a reckoning. Their empire was cracking, and my voice, once silenced, now roared. With Matt's spark and Ethan's courage, I wasn't just surviving. I was rewriting my story, ready for what came next. Claire's blog post went viral. Single mom exposes slumlord fraud in Portland. Greg and Vince face trial, convicted of fraud and forgery. Greg got probation. Vince, 6 months, both ordered to repay $50,000 to tenants. My lease was voided, rent restored to normal. I sat with Ethan, sketching quietly, as Matt brought pizza, this time paid for. My life had turned. Karen helped sue Dave for back child support, winning $15,000. I quit my cashier job, enrolling in a business management course at community college. For our future, I told Ethan, his smile bright. Matt left deliveries, launching a handyman business with a friend. "You inspired me, Laura," he said, his grin sparking warmth in me. Ethan joined an art club, his confidence soaring. The new landlord, fair and kind, offered a rent discount, thanking me for exposing Greg. I founded Portland Protectors, a tenant rights group meeting in our community center. Claire covered it, calling me the voice of the vulnerable. A single mom hugged me at our first meeting, whispering, "You gave me courage." Tears fell, echoing my late husband's strength. Greg fled Oregon, Vince's reputation ruined. Matt and I grew closer, his kindness my foundation. One rainy evening, I stood on my balcony, Portland's skyline shimmering. Ethan joined, sketching the view. "Dad would be proud," he said. I nodded, heartful. Dave's betrayal and Greg's greed had tested me. But Matt's arrival, a chance delivery, rebuilt my world. I wasn't just a cashier anymore. I was a leader, a mother, a fighter. The $15,000 funded Ethan's art supplies and my studies. Our apartment, once a cage, was now a home. Neighbors joined our group, their stories fueling my purpose. Claire's article spread, inspiring others to fight. Matt's handyman van parked outside, his presence steady. I looked at Ethan, his pencil dancing, and felt my late husband's spirit in us. Greg thought he'd break me. Instead, I shattered his scheme. Matt, once just a delivery guy, delivered hope, strength, and a new path. As rain fell, I smiled, my future bright. My home, my son, my purpose. They were mine again, forged in resilience. I'd risen from the ashes of betrayal, proving a single mom could change everything. Thank you so much for watching this story till the end. I hope you enjoyed it and maybe even learned something from it. If you'd like to hear more stories like this, full of life lessons, drama, and emotions, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you'll never miss an update. Your support means the world, and it helps me keep bringing you more inspiring and unforgettable stories. Stay tuned because more amazing stories are on the way.